It has been more than 6 weeks since Bangladesh's former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina was forced to flee the country amid a wave of protests against her and her ruling party, the Awami League, over a reservation bill. The time since then to today is less than 2 months, a time period usually considered to be a small sample size. Cricket leagues like the IPL last longer than that. But in the case of Bangladesh, that is an exception and a major one. The narrative coming out of the country has been consistent. Minorities, especially the Hindu community, have become a regular target in the post-Hasina era. We are not the ones saying this. Reports from Bangladesh tell us this. The reality on the ground could be a lot more grave, compelling many to ask, is it time for India to take a tougher stance on crimes against Hindus in Bangladesh? A question that is now being asked by several people in the country. A case in point is Pradyot Deb Barma, founder of a regional party in Tripura, a state that is bordered by 3 sides by Bangladesh. Deb Barma on Monday reportedly called for India to take a tougher stance against Bangladesh due to the wave of attacks against minorities. As per reports, Deb Barma also said that India should raise this issue with the United Nations and expose Bangladesh for the attacks and harassment against the minorities. So why is Deb Barma saying this? In Bangladesh, there are multiple reports of widespread looting of Hindu houses and shops, vandalism of temples. We've been telling you about this. Various cases of sexual violence, lynching, killings, abductions against Hindus. There are rumors of hospitals allegedly refusing treatment to Hindu patients. Can you believe that? Such is the scale of the attacks that in at least 48 of Bangladesh's 64 districts, there have been reports of incidents against Hindus. That is 75% of the entire country, and this crisis is far from over. Sectarian violence, sparked by the lynching of a Bengali man last week, reportedly displaced many ethnic families after their homes and businesses were set on fire in Chittagong Hill tracts, bordering Myanmar and northeast India. At least 4 people lost their lives. Dozens were injured in subsequent clashes. The incident also prompted a students' association to hold a rally in Tripura's capital, Agartala. As a mark of protest, they reportedly raised slogans condemning escalating attacks, arson and killings, and called for the Indian government to downgrade its diplomatic ties with Bangladesh. Furthermore, as per new reports, ahead of the festival of Durga Puja, Hindus in Bangladesh have allegedly received anonymous letters threatening them to not celebrate the festival until they pay a ransom. Otherwise, they will face dire consequences. As per reports, some Hindu committees have already started cancelling Durga Puja celebratory events, while some have approached the police. Just take a moment here and imagine not being able to celebrate a festival. You see, the number of Hindus in Bangladesh is also not a small number. They represent nearly 8% of Bangladesh's population. That's more than 13 million people. Remember, police in most parts of the country did not return to work for nearly a month as they felt unsafe. Bangladesh police personnel had become constant targets of protesters and mobs as they attempted to quell the growing unrest against Sheikh Hasina. There were reports, in fact, of police stations being set on fire with policemen trapped inside. Policemen were also seen being openly lynched and thrashed by mobs. So imagine this, the police was not feeling safe. What chance do the minorities have then? Now, this brings us back to the original question. Is it time for India to take a tougher stance against Bangladesh regarding its treatment against Hindus? India is well aware of this crisis. In the aftermath of these attacks, in fact, thousands of Hindus could be seen lining up at the India border, seeking refuge in the country. But they had to be turned away, as India reportedly is hoping to resolve this amicably and diplomatically with Bangladesh. During his Independence Day address to the country last month, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi had expressed concern over the attacks on Hindus and other minorities there. A day later, the Indian Prime Minister put a post on social media stating that Muhammad Yunus, the interim leader of Bangladesh, had called him and assured that the country will protect and ensure security and safety of Hindus and all minorities living in the country. But why should India put trust as far as Yunus is concerned? Cases against Hindus and minorities continue to remain an issue, and more importantly, Yunus cannot just be trusted on face value. He has betrayed the faith of millions of Bangladeshis repeatedly. The interim government is still in power, and there are no signs of elections and return of democracy that he had promised. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.